Welcome to Patriot News, where we are bringing you the real truth about America. Today we're going to be doing a video on the Bilderberg meetings that are happening May 30th to June 2nd of this year, so tomorrow. They're happening in Montreal, Switzerland. We're going to discuss some of the topics that are going to be discussed during these Bilderberg meetings, and we're going to discuss some of the top players, especially from the US of A, that are going to be involved in the Bilderberg meetings. So, as we know, or as many of you would know if you were to follow Patriot News on Twitter, at Patriot News the Bilderberg meetings is a secret of meetings that occur by the globalist elite, technocrats, bureaucrats, business members, the elite of the elite. And these are meetings where they are not to be discussed afterwards, and no one knows the full attendance list. There are some people that are confirmed going, and we will discuss those today, along with their connection to some of the topics that will be discussed. But there are many quote-unquote conspiracies or knowledge that comes out of these meetings that essentially shape the entire world and how events happen throughout the world. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the topics that are going to be discussed during the Bilderberg meetings, the 67th Bilderberg meetings exactly. There are a couple that catch my eye, especially due to the current events that are happening at this time throughout the United States and Europe. These are the stable strategic order, what next for Europe, and Brexit. These three are connected together due to the dealing of the current European elections that have recently taken place within the past week. There are many nationalists that have been elected throughout all of Europe. Brazil, back in the day, long time ago from now in the news cycle. But you got Le Pen beating out Macron in France. You've got Nigel Farage winning the Brexit Party, and the Brexit Party winning in England, along many other nationalists that are winning. Italy elected a nationalist. There are many nationalists being elected all over Europe, and in my opinion, this is having the elite, the socialists, the elite, the New World Order of Europe scared. Hence, the strategic timing of these three topics of what's next for Europe, a stable strategic order, and Brexit. I believe that what is discussed in these meetings is more of a fearful meeting of how to change these nationalist elections and how to eliminate the Donald Trump nationalist effect that is going on all over Europe and is really having the elites of the elites who run, the quote-unquote run the world scared. Another topic, and I will connect this one to some people that are going to be involved from the United States. There are obviously 130 participants from 23 countries, so I will just be discussing a very minute amount of the United States participants. Is the number 9, the weaponization of social media. Now, this is very important right now in this day of age due to especially in the United States, the censoring of conservatives, libertarians, and their ideologies, nationalist ideologies being censored on social media. And the timing of these topics being discussed at the Bilderberg meetings is important due to the 2020 elections coming up and voter fraud and the dreaded quote-unquote Russia interference in the election, hence the number 5. They will be discussing Russia. But more importantly, it is due to the participants that will be involved at these meetings. Here's a list you can find the list of the full participants at bilderbergmeetings.org/press release/participants. And these are the people that have been confirmed to be at these meetings. But in particular, there are a couple. I'm going to scroll through and find you a couple that stuck out to me as I was reading. Involved with the technology people / news members on the list for the weaponization of social media. We're going to have to go to letter C, where we find Jared Cohen, USA, founder and CEO, Jigsaw alphabet. This is important. He's the first member of the quote unquote technocracy, the techie elites that I see on the list. There are many, many more from different countries. But as the first USA I found, and that is very important because he is going to be in closed door discussions involving social media and how it is quote unquote being weaponized. And in my view, they're not looking at censoring conservatives and libertarians as the weaponizing. They are seeing Donald Trump as the weaponizing and nationalism as the weaponizing. So we got to go down to the M's until we find the next two right here on the list. Megan McArdle, columnist, Washington Post. Claire McCaskill, former senator, but more importantly, analyst at NBC News. These are very intriguing, and there is one more on the list as well. There's one more on the list as well. David Sanger from the New York Times and the media cabal that are going to be at these Bilderberg secret meetings. And now these media members being on this list are in connection with number 9 topic, weaponization of social media, is incredibly interesting due to the fact that we see more of a left-leaning, collaborative mainstream media being represented at this Bilderberg 2019. We do not see any Fox News people on the list. I'm sure there could be some. You don't see any Patriot News on there, as in, when I say that, I mean independent news. You don't see any foreign news. You don't see places like InfoWars, obviously, for many reasons. They are not on the list. And I think that it's due to the fact that the Washington Post, NBC News, New York Times, they're in closed doors meetings discussing how to let their agenda go out to the world nationally and in the United States and all over Europe. And they are trying to find ways to continue the censorship of conservatives and libertarians and let their agenda and the mainstream big news media agenda narrate what is going on in the United States and the world. And then the final one, that obviously the rest are very interesting, the one that I want to highlight that's important right now due to the 2020 election, is the future of capitalism. This is a very interesting topic to be discussed simply due to the fact that on the Democratic side, the left, there are a lot of candidates, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Joe Biden to an extent, are socialists. They're not even hiding it at this point. But the idea that the future of capitalism is a key topic for discussion at the secret Bilderberg meetings of 2019 raises a lot of questions as if to whether they're thinking, oh, maybe we can create a false flag, get Trump out of office, and bring socialism to America, which will cascade to the rest of the world. I believe that is exactly what they're doing. Now, I don't have any sources or elites on the inside, but a lot of these topics are very intriguing as to the timing of what is going on right now in not only the United States, but in Europe and the rest of the world. So right now I'm going to go through a couple more people and participants from the United States in particular. We will start with Jared Kushner, senior advisor to the president and the White House, is formally attending, as in he is confirmed on the list, attending Bilderberg 2019. I'm not quite sure what this means. I don't know if Trump is the elite of the elite now, if Kushner is just going there to, make the meetings not secret. We don't know. We don't know Trump's true identity, true plans, but it is kind of troubling that he will be at Bilderberg meetings 2019. Not on the list, but rumored to be there, is Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mainstream media is claiming that he is going there to discuss Iran and the situation with Iran with other foreign leaders at the Bilderberg meetings. But again, the secretive nature of these meetings is very troubling that the Secretary of State from the United States under Donald Trump will be at the Bilderberg meetings. Other names on the list, you can scroll through and see the rest. Well, we're in the K, so we might as well touch on Henry Kissinger, chairman of Kissinger Associates, will be at the Bilderberg meetings. And quick Google search, to find out who Henry Kissinger is. Not hard to do. A lot of people that are involved with exposing the Bilderberg meetings, not only 2019 but in the past, know who Henry Kissinger is. James Baker, we can go to him. He is on the list. James Baker's Office of Secretary of, we can go find him real quick. The Office of Secretary of Defense, Director, Office of Net Assessment, Office of Secretary of Defense will be involved in the Bilderberg 2019 meeting. So I also found a CNBC article. Now, granted, they are a bunch of fake news, and they claim that the key points of the article that they claim are the annual Bilderberg meetings designed to foster warmer relations between the United States and Europe starts Thursday in Switzerland and runs through Sunday. Now, as we all know, the Bilderberg meetings are not simply to foster warmer relations between the United States and Europe. If this was the case, we necessarily would not have them under Chatham rules, which means you cannot discuss what happens outside of the meetings and use any particular names of discussions or topics involved. They're supposed to be informal, and that alone contradicts the design to the idea of the designation to foster warmer relations between the United States and Europe. Because if we wanted warmer relations between the United States and Europe, there would be transparency in the discussions. Instead, what we see is an elite of the elite involved in politics and business collaborating together to decide world events. Now, this article does talk about some names that will be involved in Bilderberg 2019. As we said, Jared Kushner. List of attendees features French Economy Minister Bruno Le Maire, Credit Suisse CEO Tidjane Thiam, Bank of England Governor Mark Carney, and former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. Total CEO Patrick Pouyanné, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger are also confirmed. Typically, 1/3 of participants come from the U.S., while the rest are from Europe. Now, this list right here is very telling of who is involved in Bilderberg 2019 and what the agenda for Bilderberg 2019 is. My advice to you all listening right now is to not just follow the mainstream narrative. That right now the mainstream narrative is to bury Bilderberg 2019, the Bilderberg secretive meetings, but instead we need to have full transparency in order to be aware of what is going on in the world events in the world around us. So that is our dive deeper into Bilderberg 2019. This is my first video on YouTube from Patriot News. We're a new news outlet that we are bringing news and opinion and the truth about America to people that truly want to hear the truth. So go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Patriot News Net. Like my posts and keep in touch with me. My messages are open if you have any questions, any concerns, any